Let's take a look at the ART HeadAmp6 Pro. So ART stands for Applied Research and Technology, and the HeadAmp6 Pro is a professional 6-channel headphone amplifier with EQ and auxiliary mixer. So you can see on the back we have stereo aux inputs. So the HeadAmp6 Pro has a master volume control, and each channel also has its own level control. And as you can see, there are 6 channels. There's an EQ section on each channel that will only affect that channel. So say on channel 1 I need less bass and more treble. I can do that and it won't affect channel 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Each channel also has a mono left and mono right button that you can select. So if you just want mono left, click that. If you just want mono right, you can click that. When both buttons are out, it would be stereo, and when both buttons are in, then you get both mono left and mono right. Each channel also has its own balance knob to balance from left to right, or the knob can be used for what ART describes as their More Me feature, and that would employ using the aux inputs on the back. So if we were to insert a TRS aux into the back, then our balance knob would function as the More Me feature, which means, for example, if you're a guitar player, then you could patch your guitar into a channel and you would of course hear the whole mix. We'll say drums, bass, singer, and let's just say rhythm guitars and say you're playing a solo. And if you need to hear more of your solo, you could turn up the balance knob to get more of your signal into your headphones. So that's a really cool feature as well. You'll also notice on the HeadAmp6 Pro, we have a master meter, and each channel also has its very own meter. On the front we can also see we have our stereo headphone outs, and on the back we also have the parallel headphone stereo outputs. So you could use either the front or the back, or you could use the front and the back. So then you would be driving 2 sets of headphones on one channel. Just know that when you're driving multiple pairs of headphones from a single channel, that the power available for that channel is split between the headphones connected to that channel. For most modern headphones, you should have no problem getting sufficient level driving 2 pairs of headphones on one channel. And we'll demo some of these features later on. Flipping over to the back, as we mentioned, we have our stereo headphone outs on the back as well as the front, and then we have the stereo aux inputs. We have the balance main through, left and right. So these are XLR or TRS, and same for our balance main inputs. We could use XLR, and we have TRS inputs there as well. There's of course a power port there and your on-off switch. Also on the front is a direct in unbalanced input, and we can use this input to bypass the main inputs on the back. So for whatever reason you may want to temporarily bypass what you have plugged in the back, you could patch a cable into the front and bypass that temporarily, or leave it like that if that's the kind of setup you're looking for. So if you're using the direct in, it will override the main balance inputs in the back. Another thing to note is maybe you don't want to use each channel to feed a headphone. You could actually use the outputs on the front or the back feed another headphone amplifier if you want, and you could daisy chain them that way as well. But you also have the balance main throughs left and right as well. So now we'll power on the unit and we'll do some tests of the features of, say, the bass, the treble, the balance, and then the More Me feature using the aux inputs on the back. So as you can see, we have Pro Tools open, and I'm using an Avid 11 rack for my interface. So this is a sample setup that you might want to use a headphone amp for. So I'll go ahead and turn this off so we can start from the beginning. So I'll switch it on. See, we had a few lights there. We have a light on our power button letting us know the unit is powered on. So I have a pair of headphones plugged into channel 1. They are a pair of Vic Firth Drummer Isolation headphones, again into channel 1. And then in the back I have a pair of Sony's plugged into the back of channel 1, which I'll show you here. So hopefully you can see that plugged into channel 1. So channel 1 will be driving 2 pairs of headphones. And then over here on channel 2 we have good old Audio-Technica headphones. Now there are a couple ways I could have done this demo. I could have patched the audio out of the HeadAmp6 Pro and then back into Pro Tools and given you a high quality demonstration of how, say, the balance would work or the bass and the treble. But since this is a headphone amp, I say let's just use headphones. Now the audio you'll be hearing won't be high quality. It's just going to be recorded right through a camera microphone, and the audio will be coming from the actual headphones. So it's not high quality, but you'll get the point of some of the features. So here in Pro Tools, I have a drum loop and a guitar loop set up here. So we'll go ahead and hit play in Pro Tools and we'll check out how the HeadAmp6 Pro works. So immediately we start getting our meters. You see if I adjust my master volume, then all my meters stop showing so I don't have any audio going through anywhere. I can adjust that here. You start to clip, you can see that there. We'll adjust that around there. It's just so we're hitting about -6. And here's channel 1. Again, channel 1 is our Vic Firth headphones and our Sony headphones. So you can see the Sonys are indeed being driven by the same channel as channel 1. We can adjust the level on channel 1. And of course, the level of both go up. Turn that down a bit. So now let's check out the balance knob. So since we don't have an insert plug into the back of channel 1, our balance knob acts just like a balance knob would. So if we turn the balance knob to the left, now just our left cup is producing sound. So if I cover up the left cup, just the right cup, you're not really hearing much. So just the left cup. So most of you should know how a balance knob works. Go to the right and back to the middle. Of course, our level knob we've seen already. That's just coming from our headphones. Of course, we have our buttons, which you're not going to hear through the camera mic. So when they're both out, that would be stereo. So now we'll adjust the bass, and we're holding up these Sony headphones here to the camera. So we'll turn up the bass. Turn the bass down. Alright. Turn up the treble. Turn the treble all the way down. And you can see that as we adjust our treble and our bass, that our meter, output meter goes up. So then you can adjust that using your level knob on that channel. And these adjustments are only affecting channel 1. Channel 2 is completely unaffected. So we'll stop. And now we'll take a look at what ART calls the More Me feature. So for that, we'll be patching in the guitar output into channel 2. So I'll just use a 1/4-inch cable. In this case, it's going to be a mono source. So I want channel 2, my stereo aux inputs. So we have our patch cable plugged in for audio channel 2. And that signal is coming through the Audio-Technica headphones. So we'll go ahead and hit play. So we're clipping a little bit. I'll turn that down. And we don't need the sound from the other headphones. So now we'll just have just the sound from the Audio-Technicas. And by the way, if you're not using your other channels and these meters bother you, you can turn the level down all the way, and then you won't have those lights showing up. But I actually like the lights. Gives you something to look at. Alright, so we just have the signal coming through our Audio-Technicas on channel 2. We have the insert of the guitar plugged into the back on the stereo aux. So now I'll hold up our Audio-Technicas to the camera. And I'll use the balance knob. So before it would switch left and right, now I switch it all the way to the side that says main, then we get the main output. If I go to the other side where it says aux, now we're just getting guitar, and we can adjust our level from there. And of course you can adjust your bass and things like that. Now since this is a mono source, I'm going to push in the mono left button, so that way I'm getting sound from both of the cups. If you're using a stereo source, you shouldn't have to do that. But since it's a mono source guitar, I'm going to use a mono button there. So now I'll start adjusting the balance knob towards the main. You see, further I go, the more drums are now starting to come into the mix for just channel 2. More drums, more drums. Then we have the full mix right there. So back to more just guitar. And again, our full mix is coming through all the other channels. So if I turn up, say, channel 1, then we have the full mix coming through our Sonys and the Vic Firths, which are both on channel 1. So this is a great feature if you're playing guitar, maybe doing vocals, playing bass, whatever it happens to be. You can adjust more of yourself or less of yourself into your individual mix. So that is the HeadAmp6 Pro from Applied Research Technology. You have your individual bass, treble sections, your balance or main or aux for the More Me feature if you want to put an insert into the back. Individual level controls. You have stereo outputs in the front and in the back, so you can drive more than one pair of headphones on each channel. So if you want to learn more about the HeadAmp Pro by Art, then just check the description for a link right to the website, and check out local music dealers and online web stores to purchase the HeadAmp6 Pro.